Dan Willis here, and we're talking about the Action Collection Agency of Boston. Are you receiving a flood of phone calls from the Action Collection Agency of Boston? How about letters demanding payment? Or maybe you've discovered they're reporting negative information on your credit reports. If so, you're in the right place. Action Collection Agency of Boston is a third-party debt collection agency. They work exclusively with medical debt, including hospitals, physician networks, group practices, medical clinics, and more. They were originally founded in 1967 and incorporated in 1991. They're headquartered in Middleborough, Massachusetts, a suburb of the greater Boston area. Our purpose is to share how to deal with debt collectors, including your rights as a consumer, along with how to exercise these rights so you can protect yourself, your creditworthiness, and your pocketbook. The first place to start is with the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Fdcpa. This is federal legislation passed to regulate the debt collection industry. In other words, it's the rules. In brief, it says what time of day debt collectors are allowed to contact you and how, what they can say, who they can speak to about your alleged debt, and much more. It's worth your detailed review at your convenience. It also requires debt collectors to be honest and straightforward, including providing you with that modicum of respect and dignity every human being deserves. And yes, the Fdcpa is violated just about as often as our drug laws. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Now, does Paying Action Collection Agency help your credit? Understandably, the most common concern for folks is if paying collections will help your credit score. You'd think so. It certainly makes sense if it did. But as of 2020 and moving forward, if all you do is pay collections debt and nothing more, no, it won't help your credit score. You see, the only thing that occurs when you just pay collections is a change in the status of that item on your credit reports. It'll go from an unpaid collection to a paid collection. This is still a negative credit report item, and it's virtually guaranteed to lower your credit score. Anthony Sprov, a spokesman for FICO, says collections on your credit reports can damage and drag your credit score down by as much as 100 points. In an article from 2020 on the Experian website, it says, and we quote, "Consumers with collections on their credit reports are likely to have lower credit scores than consumers who have no collections. In addition to the potential impact to your credit scores, the presence of collections also can influence lender decisions." Whereas FICO says on their website, and we have these linked at an article on our website, link to that in the description below, where you can actually check out the Experian page yourself and this FICO page. And we also have a free report available at our website, the 7 Proven Ways to Boost Your Credit Score. Whereas FICO, Fair Isaac Corporation, says, and again we quote, "The fact that you have collections listed on your credit report will almost certainly lower your FICO score." And they go on to say, as far as your FICO score is concerned, 2 things are considered. Has a collection appeared on your credit report and when it was reported? So whether or not you pay your collections off is really a personal decision, end quote. Listen, the key to getting a better credit score is to remove this medical collection from your credit report entirely, as if it never happened. And for some folks, after first performing the necessary due diligence and the steps we discuss in this video and the one coming up here, they may find the easiest and fastest path to a clean credit report is to pay off collections debt. But you have to perform that necessary due diligence. The common false belief that you have to just live with a ding on your credit report for 7 long, expensive, and embarrassing years is bogus. If you truly read the law, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you'll see quite clearly 7 years is the maximum amount of time most negative items can remain on your credit reports. In other words, there is no minimum amount of time any negative item must remain on your credit reports. And let me ask you, when's the last time you've heard of a criminal serving their maximum prison sentence? Heck, even OJ got out early from his 33-year prison sentence after serving just 9 years. So why on earth should you have to serve the maximum 7-year bad credit prison sentence? And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. We're also going to include a link to an article at our website for the full story in the description below. We have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. Now let's talk about the Action Collection Agency and their debt collection tactics. In addition to the phone calls, in addition to the demand letters, and in addition to the negative information on your credit reports, it's very likely that Action Collection Agency will inflate your total account balance. Legally, they can charge your account a sky-high interest rate fee, and believe it or not, even collection fees. Depending on the amount of your alleged debt, these fees can be substantial amounts of money. Moreover, according to the Action Collection Agency's official website, their goal is to collect payment in full. On an aside, and we'll share more coming up here, the Action Collection Agency, like most debt collectors, operate on a contingency or consignment basis. This means they only get paid if you make payment, much like a commissioned sales position. And if Action Collection Agency is unable to collect payment, they generally have 2 options. First, they can sell the rights to your account to yet another debt collector. Now, this new debt collector will begin calling you, sending you letters, and they'll report negative information on your credit reports. Or alternatively, they can sue you, as in file a civil lawsuit against you. While everyone's circumstances are unique, it looks like Action Collection Agency does utilize the court system as a collection method, the goal being to win a judgment, because then they've really got you by the short and curlies. Judgments can result in wage garnishment, liens placed against you and or your property, and possibly even asset seizure. For full details, check out your local legislation because every state has unique laws. Whatever you do, please don't just ignore Action Collection Agency with the fanciful belief they'll just disappear like a fart on a windy day. Too often, this pain in the you-know-what can snowball into an absolute financial nightmare. Now let's talk about the most powerful weapon to deploy and what every consumer should do before negotiating with any collection agency. And the very first step is to request account validation. You see, the big coup of the Fdcpa, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, is it enables consumers to request debt validation on their alleged account. This is your right in how you say, prove this is truly my debt, or if you prefer, ask for your original receipt. After all, it's estimated that roughly 80% of all medical bills contain errors. It's best to make your debt validation request in writing and send it using certified mail. This will provide you with a trail of evidence of your communications should you need it. Action Collection Agency is required to respond by providing you with the paperwork, documents, and evidence that does in fact prove this is your debt. This paperwork should clearly show you all the relevant account details such as treatment dates, account activity, the original healthcare provider or doctor's office, etc. If they fail to validate your medical debt for any reason, even just not having their paperwork in order, then you're no longer legally responsible for payment. Moreover, they're supposed to contact all 3 credit bureaus to have them get this collection removed from your credit report. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Next, how old is the debt? If Action Collection Agency does validate your account, our next step is to review this paperwork in detail. We're looking specifically for your last date of account activity. You see, you're not legally responsible for payment of medical bills forever. Typically, you're only legally responsible for payment for about 7 years, and this is according to state law. This is called the statute of limitations, and it does vary by state, so for full details, investigate your local legislation. Once this legal time window runs out and expires, then in accordance with state law and the statute of limitations, the debt is supposed to be legally forgiven, as in your responsibility for payment of the debt expires and the contract is no longer legally enforceable. The statute of limitations applies to the overwhelming majority of types of consumer debt, including medical bills, along with credit cards, automobile loans, utilities, retail accounts, and many more. One of the few and only exceptions is federal student loans in default. Beware, yes, beware, the debt collection industry is notorious for re-aging consumer accounts, as this enables them to continue to attempt to collect payment on a debt, despite the contract no longer being legally enforceable and that debt being legally collectible. And if you'd like some help, you can get a free credit report consultation by calling toll-free 1-844-517-7627. Again, that's for a free credit report consultation, and the toll-free phone number is 1-844-517-7627. This is Dan Willis, and we're going to include a link in the description below over to an article at our website for the full story. We also have a free report available there, the 7 proven ways to boost your credit score. And of course, subscribe and join our congregation, because coming up next, we're going to be talking about how to negotiate a settlement payment with Action Collection Agency of Boston, and so it will help and improve your credit score. So, of course, subscribe and join our congregation. Looking forward to talking to you again here soon.